Hey everybody, welcome to Bass and NAZ. My name is Brandon Lovelace. I'm a newer, more experienced, newer experienced angler. I love fishing. I've been doing it my whole life, but recently, since I was an adult, I kind of got into it and started digging down deep into the rabbit hole of, not that there's only one, there's very many. When it comes to fishing, you can get into all types of rabbit holes, but I wanted to start a channel, and this is my channel that I started for people who want to get into fishing and are, not very experienced or don't really know a lot about it. I want to try to keep it very simple, very basic for you guys, and try to help you guys out as much as I possibly can. Any new information that I learn, I'll definitely pass on to you guys. But yeah, this is my first video, and I actually want to talk about my top 5 winter baits that I like to throw personally here in Arizona. I'm a bank fisherman, so I fish a lot from the bank. I get to fish on the boat every now and again, whenever my buddy Scotty invites me, or whenever I get to go out with one of the other many anglers here in Arizona. But right now, this is just what I throw in the ponds whenever I get to go out and I get a little time away from the wife and kiddos. So this is number one. Number one is probably one of my more favorites. This is probably my number one most favorite right now is the jerk bait. It's the Mega Bass jerk bait. This is a junior. It's a shallow diving. It's got a little bit of like a purple body with a white under, like a clear translucent under, also with like a darker back side of it, and it's got those little metal balls in there. It makes a sound whenever you're jerking it through the water. It is one of my most favorite jerk baits for probably the biggest reason as I'm a big power fisherman, so I have ADHD, so I like to make sure I'm doing something constantly, and fishing a slower bait just kind of, it irks my patience a little bit. So this is something that just keeps my hands going and allows me to just kind of enjoy fishing. That way I don't feel like I'm just sitting there, if that makes sense. So this is number one. Catches a lot of fish. Obviously super fun to throw in the water. When they slam this thing, it is like no other. It is so much fun to catch bass on this thing, and I absolutely love it. Let's go with number two. And for the record, Mega Bass is pretty pricey, guys. If you do go with them, they are pretty pricey jerkbaits. So if you're worried about snagging up or losing them, I probably wouldn't go with them. But if you're already pretty well invested and you just want a higher quality jerkbait, Mega Bass is definitely one of the ones I recommend for sure. So second bait, this is probably when I first got into fishing, this is probably about all I threw because I was just a big power fisherman. I didn't really know how to fish finesse, and so I fished nothing but crankbaits, shallow diving, deep diving, lipless, all type of stuff. But this is my second one, not in order, but this is just one of my other top 5 favorite baits to throw in wintertime is the deep diving crankbait. The reason why I like throwing this bait is because, number one, in wintertime, fish aren't really normally feeding shallow. Sometimes they will, but it's not very common, and so they're normally in like the 15 plus range where the water's a little bit warmer, and they're able to stay kind of in the deeper end of the water. So I like in the water column, so I like to fish a deep diving crankbait. I actually just crushed a 3-pounder out of Bartlett. It was probably about 3 pounds, probably about high 2s, I want to say, maybe low 3s. But I crushed him on this guy right here. Super awesome bait. Love it. Love throwing it. I wouldn't recommend throwing it anything less than obviously what it's meant to be thrown in, because you are going to get a lot of snag ups, and you may lose it. And if you like this bait and you don't want to keep having to buy it, obviously don't fish it in the lower water columns where you're not supposed to be. So like I said, this is a great bait to fish, especially in the wintertime. I love it. I don't really fish it any other time than really in the lakes, because that's obviously where the deeper water columns are. In order to fish this, our urban ponds don't really have deep enough water. So yeah, this is my second favorite thing to throw in the wintertime. Moving on to number 3, it's kind of, you guys will see a really very similar resemblance, but a lipless crankbait, guys. This is also called a rattle trap. Probably one of the most underrated things to throw in the wintertime, because it just, a lot of people just try to fish slow, and you can fish these slow, but a lot of people kind of just rip them through grass and things like that. So really awesome bait to throw. It just attracts fish. And also I learned this in another video for the newer anglers that are listening in. The reason why this catches so many fish in the wintertime, from what I've been told, is because of the flat body side. In the wintertime, fish aren't really that active. They can be, but they're not really that active. So the L lateral line on the side of their body, it kind of, this flat body lipless crankbait kind of imitates or kind of vibrates in a way that attracts that lateral line on their body that lets them know there's something by that they can go eat. And so that's why I like fishing this guy. It's loud. It's obviously got the rattles in it, so it's going to let them know that this bait is nearby anyways, but it's just something that catches a lot of fish. And this is a Cordell something. It's like a $3 lure at Walmart. They're very, very cheap, but they catch a lot of fish. I've probably used 20 of these guys because they get snagged so easy and you just lose them, but you're not really worried about it because they're $3. I do change the hooks out on them. The hooks aren't very good, but these are great baits to catch fish with. I personally love it. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is, I just got into it, but it's a really fun bait to throw, and since I've kind of learned some patience since I've been fishing as an adult, this is probably one of my most favorite baits to throw. And thanks to Scotty, he's kind of been teaching me how to use it and telling me that it catches big fish and little fish. But it's just an overall, like, all year round bait to throw, and I especially like throwing it in the wintertime. But it is a jig. So this is a football head, 1/2 ounce jig with a chigger craw 4-inch Berkeley power bait trailer, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in just a second. But this is what it looks like, guys. This is a Strike King. I believe it's a Strike King 1/2 ounce jig, football jig. And then, like I said, you just kind of trim the weed guard up a little bit, kind of trim it to where basically, and I also learned this as well, when you first get these, the weed guard sticks up probably about a 1/2 inch past the hook. And if you guys want to kind of better your hookup ratio, you can actually trim that weed guard to be about right where the point is. That way you're still deflecting the weeds, but you're getting a better hookup ratio, and that's kind of what I learned with them. So I have a green pumpkin, and I also have a black and blue. So as you guys can see, these are basically the two basic colors I keep in my arsenal, guys. I don't really try to keep it too sporadic with colors. I try to keep it very basic, and I've learned over the last year or so that basically green pumpkin and black and blue are probably going to be your two main colors. You can have a few extra colors in there, but green pumpkin and black and blue are going to be your money colors. And so I'll show you guys what the trailer looks like for these. This is the black and blue one. They're pretty small. These are the 4-inch guys. These are the Berkeley Power Bait Chigger Craws. And like I said, this is the 4-inch. It's black with blue flake. You can get them with blue with black flake. Same thing, just a different type of color scheme, obviously. And then this is the green pumpkin. Very nice bait. Very nice, short. Small profile for obviously any time of the year, realistically. I mean, it's short and chubby, but it is a smaller profile bait. I really like it. I think it's a great trailer for the jigs that I'm using. So, and they're very affordable. Berkeley, anything, guys, I feel like is pretty affordable. I really like Berkeley. You can go to Walmart. You can go really realistically anywhere and get them. They're a nationwide company. And like I said, they're pretty affordable. So I think, the last one I want to show for you guys is one that it's something that I had no interest in fishing with. Like, literally, a buddy of mine, Scotty, again, I probably mentioned him a couple times. He has taught me a lot of things when it comes to fishing, and this is probably the one that he had to like pound into my head because I'm not a finesse fisherman at all. But once I learned this, I fell in love with it because it's such a fun way to catch fish. But they fight good, and obviously it's a very finesse way. So a small fish feels like a big fish on this type of bait. But it's so versatile. You can catch big fish on a small fish, and this is probably one of the best things that you can use for your kiddos. If your kiddos are going to start fishing, this is probably one of the best things you can use, and it's going to catch them a bunch of fish. It's very, very easy to rig up, and I'll post another video on how I rig them up and how I tie the knot with the hook and everything, and I'll post that for you guys later. But it's called a drop shot. I'm sure in Arizona it's like a staple here in this state. I've learned that a lot of guys throw this. It's very, very easy to rig up. You just need a hook, a very small drop shot hook. I go with like a 2-aught this is a robo worm. It's obviously a finesse worm. I think this is the 4-inch margarita mutilator, I think this is, or the Morning Dawn, one of the two. I think it's a margarita mutilator. But I like this color. I like Aaron's Magic. I like Morning Dawn. You can't really go wrong with any of those colors, but this is the 4-inch. And then all you do is obviously get your line, get your hook tied up, and then get your drop shot weight on the end of that. Like I said, I'll be posting a drop shot knot tying video in just a little bit. But overall, guys, I mean, I've caught big fish on this. I've caught small fish on this. It's a very, very fun way to fish and to catch fish, especially if you're an adult or a child. It's, you know, everybody can use it. But for me, yeah, those are my top 5 favorite baits, guys, for wintertime. So it's a drop shot, jerk bait, deep diving crankbait, lipless, and a couple of jigs. So thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching my first video. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.